All right, so this is the toughest opponent I have faced online. He's 1870, and at the time I was 1816. I'm playing black, and let's get into it. So standard, I'll play my defense. He goes into the queen gambit, and the queen gambit is my opening. It's the opening I know the best. So when someone does into the queen's gambit, I'm normally pretty ready for it, and I normally decline it. Right now, simple development. Might push up my C pawn, hoping for a take. He doesn't take. We both keep developing, building tension on his side. Okay, he finally takes. I take with knight. He doesn't take back. Okay, so I take his knight. He takes with the pawn. I take, and this is where he made a mistake. He took with his C pawn. And normally that's what you want to do to a basic poker. You want to take towards the center, but he left an opening right here for the check and take. And I am winning by a minor piece. And normally it's pretty simple from here. When you're up a minor piece, you want to trade down for the win. But, you know, he's still a tough opponent, and I can't let my guard up. But my queen's on a beautiful spot to keep him from castling, and that's what I want. He puts his rook there, but I want to stun his file because I don't want him to castle. And again, I want to trade off because we're up with my bishop so I can castle. And right now he can't stop me. He pushes. I put the check, so if he does castle, guess what? His position is messed up because exactly he has to push his pawn forward. I move it back in a nice location, just in case he wants to move his bishop to block me. That's why I put it there. So if he wants to move his bishop to b4, my bishop's already there, and I can take and pin the rook if I want. Yep. Okay, he wants to get his king to safety. I'm gonna go ahead and castle, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Yep, he's still setting up. I want to develop my bishop. Now that was an interesting one. The move there. I'm not quite sure why he did that one. I guess he thought it'd be safer there because in order for me to attack him, I had to destroy my own protection of my king. That's the only thing I can really think of, since I have bishops and everything. I can quickly put them in his direction. If he, for example, h1 isn't safe for him, g1, g2, f2 are not extremely safe. Even, of course, f3 isn't safe either. So I think that was the whole plan. That was the safest place, and stay there so I can't get him a check. So I want to develop more while attacking his rook. Then I want to attack his rook again, but also put my bishop in a central location. You see how many squares I control now? Like bishops and knights. Knights are more about, you know, central control, getting them in that central square so they can move quickly in any direction. Bishops are more about how many squares you can control. Like here, for example, I'm attacking, it looks like 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm attacking 7. But me attacking b5 and a4 isn't really doing much. But my diagonal, you know, covering h1, g2, f3, etc., that's a beautiful line that the bishop's covering. But now it gets even better because now I'm covering more important squares, and I can also check the king if I want to later. But now also, instead of 7 that I previously had, now let's count how many I have. I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I went from 7 to 10. just by putting my bishop in a better spot. So that bishop is it's in a beautiful spot right now. Yep, he has to move his rook. Yep, I want to pin his queen. Probably put some stuff together. Of course, he unpins the queen. I just pushed the pawn forward just in case he, I don't know. I think eventually that was my goal, so I just did it now. So he couldn't later, if I decide to move my bishop somewhere else to check the king, I wouldn't have to worry about my b7 pawn being double attacked. And I can also retreat the bishop there later if, for whatever reason, I need to. So now he moves the bishop, and of course, I'll trade. He takes, attacking my bishop. I'm going to protect my bishop because I don't want his king. If he put his king there, I want his king to feel trapped. I don't want to get him in check and he moves his king back. No, I want your king right there on h3. Okay, now he's preparing to, break up my little pawn structure on the b file. And now here I have checkmate in mind. That's my whole goal here, is moving towards a checkmate. So my goal is to eventually move my bishop to f5. That'll put the king in check. He cannot move to g2 because my queen is there. So his only move will be h4. But my goal is to get a pawn, my g pawn, on g5 to prevent the h4. So that's what I'm setting up. I'm ignoring his pawn because if he doesn't take this pawn, he loses. If he ignores it, he takes my pawn on b. When I move to bishop f5, that's checkmate. So he sees it though, and he takes it. I take back. The checkmate is still there. He has to stop it. So he moves his king up. So now I'm also looking at time. I'm still up 3, and I'm looking at time because you can win in one of two ways, right? Checkmate or time. More pressure's on him because I'm up 3. So let's continue. I move my queen up, preparing to take the e5. He sees it. I go ahead and take his queen. He takes. I take his pawn, and he doesn't immediately take because he doesn't have to. And his mind is eventually moving his king to the f6 and moving the rook to the back row to checkmate me or something along those lines. That's his plan. And again, I'm up 8 seconds. Move my rook up. He takes. I take with bishop. Here I was kind of deciding to take with bishop or my pawn, but I didn't want to give him an opportunity to move up his e-pawn plus his, double stacked right now. And if it's double stacked, he can kind of get rid of that by pushing his e-pawn. So I think I make the best choice by taking with the bishop. Now his rook, getting ready to attack, my most advanced pawn. I move, he finally takes. I trap him and also protect my pawn. Now I need to get my rook involved because my bishop is protecting that pawn. So that's what I do. He moves his rook back. I move attacking the pawn. And of course, he is getting ready to move down for the check so he can take my f-pawn once I advance, etc. But I'm not going to let that happen. And again, look at the time. I gain more time, almost 20 seconds. But the clock is ticking down. So again, he's trying to get the checkmate. We're both just playing. We're both aware of the time. And I want to protect this pawn because I'm about to move away from it. So he pushes forward because I had to move away from it. I can't let that pawn check me. The pawn is protected. puts his forward, hoping that I take his h-pawn. If I take the h6, it's checkmate by rook to h2, so I cannot take the pawn. But I can attack his rook. He decides to come down. I move my bishop there to protect it better. Now he's getting ready to attack the pawn because it's a passed pawn that's susceptible. I take his pawn. He takes. I get my rook back in action. And he checks. Easy move forward. Yep, he's getting his rook more involved. Again, look at the time. 23 seconds or 43 seconds. I know I can win on time here. So I'm not really worried about too much. I think better maybe if he put his rook on A7, and then with the ideal of taking the F7, and then king take F7, I think he's in a much better position to win. But those are my thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong, not sure. But anyway, he goes for the A2 and check. Easy move. Yep, attack the bishop. Again, that'll look good for him if he's able to take it. But check. And now I can take this. And now it's really, really hard for him to win right now. Again, 22 seconds almost, like hard to win. And now at this point, just preventing the check. He has 7 seconds left. That does nothing. He can't do anything with that. I guess he could take the F finally pawn and then, but he still loses because after he takes with his rook, the F, I take bishop, he takes with king. I move to F5 and I'm protecting my last pawn and it's game over. So now I'm attacking his pawn, he moves it forward. I move behind it and that's game. So yeah. That was the toughest guy I faced. 1870. And they say whoever makes the last mistake in chess, that's who loses. And that's definitely true in this situation. It's always the last mistake loses. And it's rare you get lucky in this game, but I think I still got lucky that he made that big mistake. He overlooked it. Sometimes you go into autopilot and that's what happens. So don't go into autopilot in chess. Just always think.